of all, my lord, let me make one position very, very clear, and your lordships may kindly consider.
Now, are you now saying waqf by user, even if it has been established by judges for particular case, but or it is established otherwise, there is no dispute about waqf by user. That now today stands void.
No, my lord, therefore I am saying, my lord, what was presented is not the correct statutory scheme. My lord, first of all, my lord, and examine my arguments based on this. My lord, I'll give two examples, my lord, not examples, my lord, in the case of waqf. But I am a Hindu. I create a trust. My trust deed would say that all trustees would be Hindu. I would be, my lord, the settler of the trust. The trust deed would be the trust. And someone who will regulate the trust administrative secular activities would be the charity commissioner. My lord. Am I clear? It can be a public trust or a private trust. Here, in case of a Muslim, my lord, waqf necessarily under the Islamic law means dedication to Allah, Almighty Allah, for a particular charitable purpose is not accepted by the Islamic law. There has to be a waqif. Waqif means the person who settles the trust. It's in parlance of Lord, which example I gave, settler of the trust. There has to be waqif. Waqif would say that it would be governed by committee or an individual called mutawwali, who all can be Muslims.
Correct. That's what as far as waqf by user is concerned, right from.
Okay, I'm not on waqf by user. No, kindly
have understood that.
If your lordships can allow me.
Only on waqf by user.
I'm if your lordships can.
Fine.
Kindly bear with me. So far as waqf is concerned, if it is governed as per the waqif or as per the waqf deed or as per anything by Muslims, this law does not come into the picture. What is waqf board? Waqf board is the charity commissioner for waqf. First, my lord, please bear, my lord, the distinction between waqf board, waqf council and waqf itself in mind. No act, my lord, this amendment touches the waqf itself. And waqf means the trust.
Properties are out of us. So don't give the trust example. The nearest example will be the Charitable Endowments Act. The Hindu Religious Charitable Endowments Act. The states have enacted that.
Under somebody's supervision.
How is that administered? They are pointing out provisions that whenever it comes to Hindu religious charitable endowment, Hindu community which is administering it.
No, my lord. I don't wish to give examples. It will not be appropriate to give examples. I do not wish to, but take it from me. My lord, Hindu religious endowments, my lord, created by trust or by any other method, my lord, are governed by the whatever method is, but ultimate, my lord, the statutory supervision, control, coordination is by a body which may consisting of Hindus, may not be consisting of Hindus. That is why 25 and 26.
Give us an example.
Let's not. No, let me.
TTD board does it have non-Hindus?
Bombay Public Trust takes.
That's right. Trust is how trust is different. Trust is different because public trust.
There were several misstatements. No murmur from this thing. Let us maintain, my lord, a decorum. We are not arguing a religious thing. Legal thing. Howsoever,
Mr. Mehta does.
Please come to the proviso.
Mr. Mehta, let us be clear. As far as religious endowments of Hindus is concerned, normally it's the Hindus are no.
Ignore that part. Kindly come to the proviso. Kindly come to the proviso at page 6 of my compilation, of my chart.
Yes.
Provided that the existing waqf by user properties registered, please mark, registered on or before the commencement of the Waqf Amendment Act 2025 as waqf by user will remain as waqf properties. If they are registered, it will remain. Somebody says that why we did not register, and I'll come to that, my lord, what is the logic, and I'll satisfy your lordships. Except that I'll say that, Mr. Josefa, except that properties wholly or in part is in dispute. My lord, there is a civil dispute going on between either a private party and waqf.
Why will it not remain a waqf property? Let the Supreme Court decide that dispute.
It would.
Or if it's a government is raising a dispute, let it decide that. Now what is it?
My lord, if the lordship allow me to
just 1 minute, please. This is the second part of the argument.
My lord, the difficulty is when the petitioner starts without pointing out the contours, the respondent, my lord, doesn't get to
Okay.
assist the court, my lord.
We
That's,
have understood that. We have understood. We are pointing
I
out the
will-
last part of it. First part we have.
I tell your lordship, my lord, why? Why? Right from 1930, 1923, the first Waqf Act came in 1923. Registration of Waqf is mandatory, statutorily mandatorily required. You cannot have an unregistered trust, a Waqf, even Waqf by user cannot be unregistered, which was followed by the Waqf Act of 1954. 1954 also, it is mandatory to have your Waqf by user or any other Waqf registered. That was followed by the Waqf Act of 1995, the present act, my lord, where also the Waqf Act, the registration of Waqf is not only compulsory, the Mutawalli, which Mr. Sibal pointed out that I'll go to jail. He is going to jail since 1995. If he is not registering his trust and not bringing it within the purview of the regulatory mechanism, there is a penalty provision of imprisonment since 1995. In 2013, my lord, the parliament amended the Waqf Act, my lord, which I have pointed out. There also the Waqf registration is mandatory.
Mr. Tushar Mehta just tells one.
Yes.
Work by user, if accepted prior to the 2025 Act, it's now touched. 1 minute, please. Is it now declared to be void or non-existent?
No, my lord.
Please take us, be careful about your statement.
Good.
Work by user, if already established and registered, say, 1 minute, please. If already established, will it be declared in terms of the 2025 amendment now as void, or it will continue to subsist?
If registered, no. No.
36.
Yes, my lord, that is the exception.
1 minute. But then there's a catch here.
See, yeah, my lords are right. Subject, please.
There are two catches. There are two catches here.
Yes.
One, it says, is in dispute.
Before a court.
Where is it mentioned?
This is not.
That's not stated.
This
Is in dispute means, 1 minute, please. Now, it doesn't say is in dispute. What do you mean by the term is in dispute? It doesn't say it's before the court or is otherwise in dispute.
correct, my lord.
Number two, the issue is with regard to government property.
Correct, my lords.
Now, the fact of the matter is, before the Britishers came, we did not have any registration.
25 is British.
We did not have any registration act, the State Transfer Property Act. Now, the works say many of the masjids, etc., may have been constructed now in 14th, 15th, 16th centuries, 17th centuries.
They could have been registered after
1 minute. But to accept, to require them to produce a registered sale deed will be an impossibility.
But I am not registered for both.
Today, it will be an impossibility.
Lord, my lords, possibly where I am not clear. Registration with the registering authority.
No, I'm
under
aware of
Waqf
that.
Act.
I'm now aware of that. But therefore, in
Not
most of the cases, say in case of Jama Masjid Delhi,
Yes.
the work will be worked by user because the masjid was
Then
treated as.
nobody prevented them from not going and getting it registered.
So,
In fact, it was mandatory.
Yes, correct. Chief Justice is quoting. No, 1 minute. See, some of your provisions are saluted.
Yes.
Some of them require clarification.
Yes.
What the learned Chief Justice is putting to you.
Yes, my lord.
A simple case where a Waqf by user, somebody after the act goes and seeks registration, you register, no problem. What if 3C is invoked and a stake is made by the government that it is government property?
Please.
Just answer keeping one thing in. You have the land encroachment act. Every state has land encroachment.
Yes, yes, my lord.
Disputes have arisen where the government says this is Parambook land or this is the government land. A bona fide dispute of title is raised. This court says whenever there is a bona fide issue, it will be relegated to civil court. Collector or will not assume power.
They can still go to the tribunal, my lord. Let me complete. my lord.
That is the answer you have to show. What's that?
What is being shown, my lord, is something, my lord, except my lord.
3C if you see.
Now kindly come to 3C. Kindly come to 3C and my lord, read, my lord, the way the government has read and the parliament has read. Not, my lord, I would not sensationalize. No person shall create a waqf unless, my lord, page 3C would be page
Capital C.
Page 8, my lord, I'm sorry. Any government property identified or declared as waqf property. Identified means it is being known as a waqf, but not that government will now identify, as Mr. Sibal said. or declared as waqf property before or after commencement of this act shall not be deemed to be a waqf property. There are judgments to the effect that the government as a trustee of the government land, Lord, can regulate it. Let us proceed. If any question, if they're very charged. If any question arises as to whether any such property is a government property, the state government may, by notification, designate an officer above the rank of collector, hereinafter referred to as the designated officer, who shall conduct an inquiry as per law and determine whether such property is a government property or not, and submit his report. Kindly pause here for a minute why this provision came. Well, Lord, nobody can dispute that the government property cannot be anything other than the government property. Suppose somebody is claiming to be having a waqf on the government property, for example, High Court.
No, but this provision has to be read as section 1. First, you say any property identified or declared as waqf property shall not be deemed to be a waqf property. So you undo any further identification and declaration that a property is a waqf property.
That is
So, and therefore, you undo that.
I am arguing as a law, and it's a lot of.
Don't worry on that side. Answer us.
I wish to look anyway.
Our answer should be 36(7) capital.
Exactly. When I'm coming to that, my lord, allow me to go, my lord, the way I'm wanting your lordships to look at that. At 83, my lord, 83, there is a provision. But kindly see, my lord, why this provision came? My lord, when it was an agreed position that if it's on the government land, then there has to be an adjudication about the land being government land or otherwise for revenue purposes, not for the purpose of title. The argument before the JPC was that collector is the revenue officer, he himself will be a judge in his own cause. Therefore, my lord, a suggestion was made by the JPC that the person who adjudicates under 36(2) should be a person above the collector. Now, what the collector does, what is the result of his exercise under 33(c)(2)? Please have a look at, my lord. 3. In case the designated of...
Proviso.
I'll just read the proviso.
It
Provided
means there's a moment the collector starts investigation.
Correct.
Is that fair?
Right. I'll have to...
Is that fair? Because he's still not decided whether it's government land or not, or it's what for not, what it is deemed not to be what.
Allow me to answer. But suppose there is a shop, there is a temple, there is a waqf property. What it says is not that the user will stop. It would not get the benefit of waqf till we decide.
What will happen? Where will the rent be paid?
There is no, who pays rent?
No. Suppose it's from rent, or it is being used. Suppose it is being used as a waqf property by the Muslims. Or
Use is not stopped.
no, but what does it mean? It will not be. The property will be treated.
It would not get benefits of the waqf.
But why have that proviso then? Why have
Would not have the waqf itself.
Because it's such serve.
If I can, I rather than
You want that answer?
the exchange may not assist your lordship correctly. Lord, the point is, if it is it's Lord, the position as a waqf remains under suspension because the property being waqf carries with it certain benefits under the trust, under the waqf act. So nobody says that usage will stop. It would stop to be waqf property, and ultimately what would happen? 3. Please see, have a look at 3. Can we have a look at number 3?
Yes.
In case the designated officer determines the property to be a government property, he shall make necessary corrections in revenue record. These are revenue proceedings. But if still somebody wants that, no, I want to exercise my right of ownership by way of adverse possession, for example, he can file appropriate proceedings. But there are remedies under that.
There's a bar to a civil suit.
83, 36(7),
Let's see.
36(10). Kindly allow me to go in my own.
Yes.
Well, let's not, my lordship. I would request your lordship. That's what exactly was done, and that's why, my lord, I'm facing questions which possibly does not arise. Mainly, my lord, now have a look at the state government shall, on receipt of the my lord, this is Vishwanath. Surplus 4 at page 8. The state government shall, on receipt of the report of the designated officer, direct the board to make appropriate correction in the records. This is only for the purpose of correcting revenue records. If there is any other remedy available, it can be a REIT remedy, it can be any other remedy, or remedy under section 83 of the tribunal, waqf tribunal, it is available to any aggrieved party. Now, my lord, may kindly have a look at My lord, kindly come to 83 now.
You go in your own way, solicitor, 30, after 83, deal with 36(7)(a) and 36(10)
Yes.
and resolve that there is a small conundrum. Come back after 83.
Okay, can your lordships come to 83 first?
Yes.
Yes, but both deal with different situations. Therefore, my lords, the state government, my lord, first of all, the middle part is, my lord, the amendment made in 2013, which, my lord, Mr. Sibal missed to read, my lord, on a very important question, which I'll read, my lord, subsequently. The state government shall, by notification in the official gazette, constitute as many tribunals as it may think fit for the determination of any dispute, question, or other matter relating to a waqf or waqf property, eviction of a tenant, or determination of rights and obligations of the lessor and the lessee of such property under this act, and define the local limits of the jurisdiction of such tribunals. Provided that any other tribunal may, my lord, your lordships may skip, any mutawali person interested in a waqf or any other person aggrieved by an order made under this act, please mark, my lord, or rules made thereunder may make an application within the time specified in this act, or where no such time has been specified within such time as may be prescribed to the tribunal for determination of any dispute, question, or other thing relating to the waqf, provided that if there is no tribunal, my lord, we are not concerned. Now, my lord, subsection 4 is, my lord, the composition of the tribunal, my lord, which they have not disputed, so I am not taking your lordship to that. My lord, it's a judicial body, my lord. It has a judge in it, former judge in it. And one person with a knowledge of Muslim law, please have a look at page 90, my lords. The composition. Judicial review is not taken away, my lord. Please have your lordships have 4, my lord, 83(4). Every tribunal shall consist of 3 members, one person who is or has been a district judge, who shall be the chairman, and one person who is or has been an officer equivalent to the rank in the rank of joint secretary to the state government member, one person having knowledge of Muslim law and jurisprudence member, provided that the tribunal established so and so, so and so. That's earlier tribunal to continue. So there is a judicial review. Every order passed under the act are subject matter of challenge before this. Now, my lord, answering my lord Justice Vishwanathan's question, my lord, please come to lord page 47.
No, you read 83(9) also. Further appeal to High Court.
Yes, there is a full-fledged. I'm sorry, I'm grateful. I should have. 83(5), my lord. Please have a look at 83(5), my lord. First, the tribunal shall be deemed to be a civil court and shall have the same powers as may be exercised by a civil court under Code of Civil Procedure while trying a suit or executing a decree or order. My lord, then it will follow its own procedures. My lord, now, please have a look at, my lord, 9 was earlier sealed 9, which is now deleted. It has become more expansive, transparent, and subjected to judicial review. This decision was final, ultimately, earlier. Decision of the tribunal under subsection 9 in 2013 Act, amendment made in 2013 was final. This is deleted. No person shall lie, no appeal shall lie against any decision or order, whether interim or otherwise, given or made by the tribunal, provided that High Court may, my lord, is kind of a revisional.
Mr. Mehta, I'm still not able to get my answer. Is waqf user which is established and identified or declared earlier now declared?
Registered, yes.
Even if it is declared,
My lord,
accepted?
my lord, my position is, my lord, and I'll put it on affidavit also if needed. My lord, nothing prevented
Oh,
registered.
but then that will be undoing something which is established.